technology in my introduction, like the impact of technology on paying attention in class and on our brains. So I have learned from this video that students who are good on multitasking think it is not a problem to use many things or to use many tasks in the same times, and they have the ability to focus on both of them. However, this video shows us that it is not true, and this problem may lead to drop their grades, and also may create people who are unable to think clearly, because since they are bad at analytic reasoning. So these are important effects of technology on and multitask on students, which may support my project.
My chapter is talking about the technology addiction in South Korea, and talk about the technology with teaching. In South Korea, there are not a lot of home computers, so people usually surfing in the internet in some internet cafes and PC bars, because they are very cheap and have high-speed internet. So a lot of teenagers like to play video games there, but it has happened like some children died because they have played in computer for 50 hours and don't have the food and water. And some people claim that their children take their studying down because they spend too much time on internet. There is a doctor who is searching internet addiction for 3 years. He said there are 90% of children use the internet in South Korea, but there are 10% to 15% of them are high risk group. So Korea become the first country to confront the fallout of the digital revolution. And their example about the internet addiction. There's 15-year-old student whose name is. Can I just say why?
Yes.
Yeah. He usually spend time in internet about 7 to 8 hours every day, and he plays computer all night on weekend. And his mother said why they don't not stop even once he start to play computer. And he has dropped half of class this quarter, and he most play 5 games in the internet. So the mother take one to a school which is held by the Korean government, and in order to rescue internet. And the teacher in that school usually lead their children to play some games like their childhood. But White said it is useless because he also think about his games in the internet. So the Korean school is more focused on teaching students to use the internet correctly. Like before they they teach students some ethics or computer etiquette and manners before students use the internet. So I think the teaching of technology is very important. Like in America, there is a student. His school teaches him to use the internet to do the homework, and teach him to make some blogs and discuss in the internet by the internet. So the school's principal said internet is very important and useful in nowadays, and if there is no any media, there will be people will be like working on the desert. So the school focus on teaching students use computer by their brain and choose the work internet correctly. And the students also usually multitask in the internet, but they cannot focus on studying, and they play more than their study. And there is another student, like he always use internet to read book, and he never use the real book because there are many summarizes about the book, and he can use internet. He can read fast by the internet. So I felt like internet make our life be very convenient in the beginning, but with the developing of the entertainment in the internet, people are changing their habits in the internet, and people are changing their habit in the internet instead of to look at the knowledge in the internet. And as a professor in the video said, there are a lot of knowledge in the internet, but people always don't know that. So I think it is very important for the schools and the parents to teach the students to use the internet correctly and limit their internet using. And I think the part is very useful for my research paper, because my research question is about the effects and the solution of technology addiction, and it provides a lot of examples, like the children died because of long time computer, and it also gave me the very good solution about internet addiction. That is to lead the students, to lead the children to use internet correctly. I think that should be the best solution of the internet addiction.
Hi guys, and I'm happy to share my part of the video, which is called VID00006. And I think I need to apologize first, because the beginning of my part is really hard for me to understand. But in generally, it's talk about the history, maybe 300 or 200 years ago, and there were no technology and there were no internet. And how does the people live? But actually, some details I cannot understand anymore. And okay. And I will give the two parts in the presentation. First is my summary, and the second part is my response. And in my part of the video, it's in the beginning, it's talk about in the Frontline website, there are 1,000 people submit their real life on the website to share with audience, to share with other people, which is about like their kids and the romance story and like the struggle with privacy, which is about how does the internet impact their real life. And I think there is a interesting story. I hope you guys can recall it, which is a 38-year-old woman and who is worked for the bank before, and she is busy now because she has a cooking show which is called VID00006. Yeah, and her grandsons helps her to do everything else, especially to like imply email and like record or make the videos for her. I think this is the interesting and good story about the internet. And generally, Bobby and her grandsons consider that internet is a good thing because this is a good tool to make their life become more interesting than before. But sometimes Bobby say like internet take away from people like the real communication, like face-to-face. So in the videos, she mentions that she really wants to hear the voice from her grandchildren. And another important part in my part of the video, which is talk about the online game, because we know that online games are popular now, and it brings million people who comes from a different world and came to the same virtual world. And we know that the game is a big attractive, right? And some players said you will have a different experience when you play games. That the experience that you will never have in the real life. And a game company take a party once a year for its player, and which is the players can comes together to play the game and share their experience, their stories in the game. And they will never meet each other, but they said they are a close friend because they recognize their voice yearly, and definitely they know each other, especially in the game place. And some players also said the people who don't play games will never understand their friendship and connections, which each other. And I think the one more interesting things and a shocked information for me, which is the games, especially the online games, the multitasker games lead people married in their real life. It's just very shocked information, I think. And okay, my response for those part of the video, I think, like the Bobby mentions that emailing or some technical ways take away our real communication in our real life, such as face-to-face and face-to-face communication. I think firstly, it is bad for our kids because they may like they love play games or they love instant chatting online like Facebook and Twitter, and they may lose their communication skills, which is bad for their future. I mean, it's when they apply for a job, they may have an interview, and I think the communication skill and communicate with different type of people is a necessary skills for our kids. And secondly, I think parents should think about how could them educate our children. I mean, our children become like digital addiction, and parents is a big factors of this issue. So in my view, parents should consider more about this and like give our kids a right way and to correct them immediately. Yeah, and I think my part is useful for our research paper because there are a lot of examples like Yao said, and it can be a hook or some background information to attract the readers to read our research paper. So I think, yeah, it's useful. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I will talk about the last two chapters in our video. And for the chapter 8, the video talks about how the virtual experiences has changed people's life. And the video gives us two examples. The IBM company and the American military to expand how the technology changes people's working ways. And the video says the IBM company is shifting their traditional meeting way into a three-dimensional virtual meeting way. And the original working building is empty because more of the workers can sit and work at home, and they can talk and work with other workers through the internet. And besides, I think this video mentions about a research that conducted on the kids. They let the kids to swim with the whales in the virtual world. And it is shocked that most of the kids will then believe that they swim with the whales in the real world. So the technology is making people blur between the virtual and the real world. And for the last chapter, the video mentions about the American Army has opened a lot of gaming centers as a recruitment tool to attract more teenagers to join in the army. But many protesters against this practice, and they maintain that the war is not a game. And moreover, many people believe that there are some good values and experiences that we can learn from the internet and from the online games. And my response of this video is, first of all, I think the technology changes our life dramatically. And the 3D virtual meeting environment that mentioned by the IBM company is amazing and exciting. This gives a chance to the same company's workers who are not in the same places to discuss about the working issues and strategies together. However, I think this improvement makes more people sit and stay at home for a long time. As a result, they may spend less time to work or to do some sport. So this may helpful to their health. And actually, I think my part of video is less useful to my writing paper. However, if possible, I can use some information such as some bad behaviors of teenagers and some bad effects of playing the video games to as my background information to introduce this issue. And in this video, some people blaming the army for hiring some young teenagers by providing some video games to the teenagers. In this case, the reason why the army can hire those young soldiers is because teenagers are too addicted to the games. In order to play the games, they can make such a big sacrifice, difficult and dangerous decision. So I think it's a serious problem because many teenagers make too focus on the video games, and they may not care about some real life issues. This may be bad for their personal development. And another point is, the virtual world is making people blur between the make-believe and the real world. And I think this is a bad effect of playing the video games. The virtual world is making people far away from the realistic. And people who are addicted on playing the video games may always think about something that is impossible to accomplish in the real life. And moreover, last but not least, I realized that there are some good values on playing the video games. The game world is a rich world that can provide many learning experiences, such as you can finding out some series that behind the games, or it can provide it can be helpful to some academic subjects such as physics and geography. And in conclusion, this video talks about many issues that related to the technology, and I think this video provides more negative points of using the technologies and using some digital devices than those positive points. So I think we have better to control our use of internet, and we should find out some solutions to solve the activities problem. And thank you.